Hello everyone, welcome to 2023. You know the saying, new year, new PG-13 Blumhouse horror movie. So this one is M3GAN. It's this highly original story about a woman who brings home a friendly AI doll that then befriends a kid. But the doll soon starts taking its role a little too seriously, as it murders anyone who challenges this special bond. In the climax, this robot is about to be revealed/released to the public, but things don't go according to plan. The movie mixes dark humor and self-awareness with good old tension-filled slasher scenes, and at the heart of it all lies a story about love and family. You're sure to leave the theater thinking to yourself, wow, that was mediocre at best, but hey, it could have been worse. Watch M3GAN now in theaters. Wait, Frank? What is... You're using footage from the Child's Play remake. We're talking about M3GAN here. What the fuck? You're fired. Sorry about that. Frank seems a little confused, but thankfully he'll never make another mistake in his life, as we're killing him right now. Anyhow, M3GAN. You know what? All jokes aside, M3GAN was surprisingly not the worst thing. I remember watching this god-awful trailer in the theater the other day. A trailer plucked right out of 2008, overly serious and epic, making it seem like the movie was something else entirely.
Does she talk?
And then you watch it, and it's a campy, humorous, silly little film about a sassy doll who gives attitude to everybody.
Oh, really?
Whoever was in charge of marketing this movie should get the same treatment as Frank. Here's the thing, this movie is actually funny and genuinely entertaining at times.
But it's also really fun and funny.
But to get to these little nuggets of fun, we must suffer through the most generic, by-the-numbers AI robot turns evil story. You got it all: forced conflict, dead parents, cartoon bullies, jump scares, evil robots slowly staring in silence with creepy background music, the famous line, "It's learning on its own," etc, etc. In fact, the action and horror doesn't start until about the 45-minute mark, halfway through the movie. I think the first half needed some more action, horror, or maybe just some better conflict. Sure, it leaves more place for character development, which will not blow you away, but also could have been much worse. You understand very well where the characters are coming from, what they're going through, and look at that, they even have a tiny little character arc. The lady from Get Out was perfectly fine. The kid actor also did a good job at being an annoying little brat. Seriously, very good actress for her age. But the character got on my nerves a lot. She's always pouting and complaining and being a rude little asshole. Then again, that's what kids are, so props for the realism. The show stealer here is M3GAN. Whenever she's on screen, the movie becomes fun again. She's sassy, she's darkly funny, sometimes a little bit creepy, and to be perfectly honest, I was on her side. Just kill everybody. Do it, I don't care. Just kill them. In terms of evil robots, this one is pretty damn good. Now, similar to the Child's Play remake, they do this thing where the doll has Bluetooth, and therefore it's somehow capable of driving cars, controlling cell phones, disabling security systems, dumb shit like that. It pushes the boundaries of suspension of disbelief, but the campiness made it a bit more tolerable. In fact, the film fails most when it's trying to be a dark horror movie, but fully succeeds when it's just having fun with its silly premise. It's worth noting that the film doesn't just stop to tell jokes. It usually helps move the story forward and develop the characters.
You should probably run.
Especially M3GAN's humorous lines, which give her some much needed charisma and personality. Oh, did you hear that voice crack? That was great. Puberty in my mid-20s, this is fantastic. My only complaint with this is that sometimes the horror-comedy balance just doesn't work very well. It'll be a depressing drama about grief for half an hour, and then a campy slasher film where a robot stabs people with TikTok dance moves. It's a little tonally inconsistent. Once things get crazier in the second and third act, that's when things get really fun. Pretty good jokes, dark humor, some okay-ish kills despite the PG rating, and an overall campiness that was missing for most of the movie. The ending, though, is just full-on fucking farcical, maybe a little too much, just right out of a Saturday morning cartoon. Maybe I would have enjoyed it a lot more had the tone been consistently darkly humorous and on the sillier side, but for the most part, it's not. And then the film ends very abruptly, leaving some setups with no payoffs. I think a denouement would have helped the flow a lot, but hey, maybe that's that's just me. Now, I guess we should talk about the controversial rating. It's become quite known that M3GAN was originally supposed to be a rated R movie with bloody, gory death scenes, but then very late into production they changed it for a PG-13 rating so that they could make a bit more money with annoying little teenagers. Now, am I disappointed that there's no graphic violence? Sure, who doesn't love to see people die in various horrific ways, am I right? But that's not necessarily the issue. Plenty of PG-13 horror films can be just as effective when done well. The real problem here is not the rating, but the fact that they changed the original creative vision. You can tell these death scenes are set up to be extra gruesome, like a lady's head melting, a machete through the body, fun stuff like that. But then right as things get interesting, it suddenly cuts to either another scene or another shot where you can't tell what is happening. For example, in this trailer here, this guy gets stabbed and there's a nice little blood squirt. But in the movie, it's nowhere to be found. This other guy doesn't even have blood on his face. They're not working around the violence in a creative way, they're censoring it. All in all, against all odds, I found myself disappointed with M3GAN. No, not because it's horrible. Believe me, my expectations were lower than this bar. I'm actually disappointed seeing how much potential this had. I surprised myself having good fun for a couple of well-written, clever scenes. But for the most part, this is still a very by-the-numbers horror film, where you're always 12 steps ahead of the plot. It surely will not leave much of an impression. I'm already starting to forget about it. But hey, it's definitely not the worst Blumhouse film there is. I'll give M3GAN something like a 5 or a 6 out of 10. Somewhere in between that. Well, won't you look at the time? It's time to get back to my seasonal depression for a little while. So until we meet again, keep watching horror movies. But good for your health. Bye bye.